The Eurozone by now has revealed its weakness, and its main weakness is that we don't have a federal fiscal capacity. So what we have been proposing in a recent policy brief with Benedicta Marzinotto and André Sapir is to create exactly that federal fiscal capacity. In other words, the possibility to tax at a federal level, so at a Eurozone level, to tax citizens or corporations, to contribute to a crisis management and resolution fund, but also to have the necessary resources to help backstop the financial and banking system if this becomes necessary. These are the two central elements in terms of the financing of a fiscal union.
But also, I think some of the Germans and French are calling for a whole system of checks and balances, how member states deal with their finances, sanctions also. Would that be helpful?
Yes, so our proposal also includes conditionality that needs to be imposed as soon as you create mechanisms for assistance to other countries, as well as mechanisms to help backstop and finance the financial system. You do need to put in place a system which has strong influence on national budgets, but also on supervision of banks. So what we are proposing is exactly that. We propose a veto right on national budgets by a Eurozone finance minister that needs to be legitimized by a parliament at the Eurozone level. And in addition, we do propose to move financial supervision to a Eurozone level, giving the Eurozone Financial Supervisory Authority direct intervention rights into banks.
But I can already hear some European capitals screaming loss of sovereignty at hearing those proposals. Isn't that a big risk that politically you're going into a very controversial territory?
Yes, this is of course very controversial, but on the other hand, moving towards a fiscal union with lots of liabilities and lots of co-responsibilities implies also giving up sovereignty. So it's a quid pro quo.
How quickly does this have to happen in view of just how rapidly and frighteningly the Eurozone debt crisis now is growing?
Well, we are proposing this to happen over a medium run, so it needs to be a political declaration that is establishing this relatively quickly, but of course the implementation of that process will take some time. But once you have come to an agreement in principle to move to such a new fiscal union, you can give the current institutions much more scope to act and intervene. So ultimately, the ECB could even in a position to backstop the financial system and to also help on the government bond market if the ECB knows that the Eurozone is moving towards a fiscal union.